I get asked a lot if it's possible to create a pond for ducks, or if a bog filter will keep a duck pond clear. Last year I helped a great guy called Christopher design a pond for his ducks. Christopher's been kind enough to let me share these clips with you. It'd be nice if you go give him a follow over on Instagram. Anyway, I thought for this video I'd share some of the things that we took into consideration when designing the pond, in the hope it helps others trying to create something similar. If you don't already know me, my name is Kev, and the aim of my channel is to help people build and maintain ponds without spending a fortune. If that sounds like something that interests you, you might like to subscribe and check out my website, Ozponds.com. So to save money, we're going to go all DIY filters. We know the ducks are messy, so we need a really good filter, and we need it to be easy to clean. I will put some links to the DIY builds of each filter component in the description. I like natural looking ponds, but we need a liner to hold the water in the pond. EPDM is my preferred choice. It's strong, stretchy, easy to work with, and comes with a great warranty. The liner is going to be covered with rock and pebble. This protects the liner, but it also provides additional habitat for good bacteria and microorganisms. So when you dig out the pond, you'll use shelves to make sure that the rocks and pebble are easy to stack. Over time, sediment will build up inside the pond, so there will be some maintenance from time to time. To maintain the clear water, we need a good biological filter. My preferred biological filter is a bog filter. A bog filter is easy to build, and you can design it in a way that it merges with the landscape and looks like it's just part of the pond and not a super efficient filter that it is. This is one of my ponds, and in the bottom right hand corner of the screen is a bog filter, but it just looks like a part of the stream feeding the pond. This larger bog filter is built inside a hole lined with EPDM pond liner. The water is pumped into the base of the filter. There's a dispersal pipe that helps evenly distribute the water throughout the bog. In this particular pond, I didn't use aqua blocks or an alternative, but in a duck pond like Christopher's, it's recommended as the ducks are messy and that void area will allow more waste to accumulate. The water is forced to flow up through various grades of rock and pebble. Good bacteria will live on the rocks and the pebble and help to purify the water as it moves through the filter. We also have a clean out port so that we can completely drain the bog filter to give it a full clean out if and when needed. The bog filter sits higher than the pond itself, so once the water has passed through the bog, it returns to the pond before being pumped up again, and round it goes. To prevent the pump from constantly getting clogged, an intake bay is a great addition. Again, this is an intake bay on my pond, but it's the same principle for a duck pond. Water is pulled from the main pond into the intake bay. The pumps are inside the intake bay. There's a shallow section that divides the intake bay and the main pond. This creates a tension on the water's surface. There is a void area to ensure that the pumps always have access to water, and the void is covered with rock and pebble. The rock and pebble protect the pump from sucking in any large particles or from getting clogged, which reduces maintenance. The intake bay also keeps the main pond surface nice and clean, as any surface debris like duck feathers, leaves and pond scum is pulled into the intake bay where you can net it out. But even with the intake bay and the bog filter, we knew there would still be quite a lot of dissolved duck waste inside the pond, so we wanted to include a mechanical filter to try and remove some of this extra waste. There's lots of different mechanical filters, but we wanted something easy to DIY and easy to clean. We went with a really simple design, something like this. Water comes into a barrel or a container at the base. It flows up through a series of sponges. You can also add some additional filter media if you like to provide more area for beneficial bacteria. To make cleaning easier, a flush valve can be added at the base of the filter. You could also reverse the flow of water if you desired, having the water come in from the top of the filter, pass down through the sponges and return to the pond via the base. Whatever you think's easier. A filter like this can be buried into the landscape and feed a stream or a waterfall. That's what I did on my pond. One thing to keep in mind is that the overflow from the filter needs to be bigger than the inflow. When the pump pumps the water into the filter, it's under pressure. When it leaves the filter, it's powered by gravity. The last thing to consider is adding aeration. Dissolved oxygen is important for the bacteria to work their magic, and it will help them break down and consume waste more efficiently. So now let's take a quick look at how we put all the elements together. So first we have the pond itself. We'll set aside space for the intake bay. The intake bay needs to be able to accommodate at least 1 minute of the water flow. Then we have the bog filter. It's sized at around 25% of the pond's volume for a duck pond, but bigger is better in my opinion. The size of the high flow filter doesn't matter too much. We're more looking at something that will fit the sponges snugly and will accommodate a larger overflow. To keep the design simple, I'd use 2 pumps, one for the bog and one for the high flow filter. The bog pump is sized at 6 times the empty bog volume. The high flow filter's really a situation of the more water that moves through here, the better. Remember, the high flow and the bog filter sit above the water level of the pond so that the water can flow back via gravity into the pond. You could use pipe streams or waterfalls. Just remember that if you use pipes when the water is flowing through gravity, it needs a much larger diameter than when it was under the pressure. So now's probably a good time to mention that on my website I have a little PDF formula download that can help you with all these calculations. Lastly, you can add an aerator or maybe even some jets or venturis to help mix the air and the water. So that's basically the bones on what I helped Christopher with, and then he went ahead and did all the hard work putting it together. Hopefully this very basic overview can help someone else create something similar without spending a fortune. Remember, there's links in the description on how to build the filters. And a big thanks to Christopher for letting me share his pond with you guys. So go give him a follow over on Instagram. Thanks for watching. See ya.